All right, Cowboy Nation. After watching the game two more times, I watched it last night and I watched it again this morning. And looking back at everything, I must say, Jason Garrett still finds ways to not get some of this blame. It's not going to go around. He passes the buck. He misses the buck every time. We can always go back to, hey, if only the kicker makes the kick, the momentum will not be swinged. If only, a wide receiver don't drop a certain pass, those type of things. If only we can find ways to, quote unquote, hit the hole when it's supposed to be, or a penalty get called opposed that is not getting called. And here's the thing. When we look back at everything from A to Z about this team, we say to ourselves, it's the same story over and over and over again. And so many people will look back at this and say that, well, Law, you're clout chasing. Law, you don't know football. This has been going on for over 10 years now. And I'm counting the offensive coordinator position when he was held that situation. It's been going on over and over and over again. And a lot of people are expecting different results. And we don't get it. And it's top of the morning. I really appreciate you all. Hope you guys got your coffee. This is not a Victory Monday speech. This is a situation where at some point, Jason Garrett got to go at some point. It's nothing else you can put onto it. It's no sugar that you can make this thing taste better. A lot of times you add sugar, but in reality, your body don't needs it. It's one of those things. And you can call us whiny fans. You can call us crying fans. You can call us clout chasing. You can call us whatever you may want to call it. But at the same time, it's been 10 years. And a lot of people, I had several comments saying that, well, Law, you wasn't saying this the first three games. And I agree. I wasn't saying it the first three games. We've been saying this 6 years ago. Hell, 7 years ago. The reality of it is that when we look at Jason Garrett, sometimes your peak is your peak. Your low is your low. It's not the fact that Jason Garrett is a horrible guy. It's not that at all. I want people to remove that from their talk tracks. Shout out to you, Antoine. He says the Vikings had a plan to stop Ezekiel Elliott, and I couldn't read it all, but I really appreciate you for making the donation to help grow the nation. And here's the thing. For the life of me, I want Cowboy fans to stop doing this. Please stop saying that Ezekiel Elliott is trash. Please stop saying that Dak Prescott is trash. Please stop saying that we must get rid of the kicker. We must get rid of this. Because all we're doing is enabling the coach. We are sitting there saying to ourselves, the only reason the Dallas Cowboys lost are because of the players. Now, these players go to other teams. They're spectacular. It goes so much, and it goes so much into details of how you coach this game. There are going to be players that's going to be able to fumble the ball. There's going to be players that's going to be able to miss assignments. There's going to be players that's going to whiff on a block. There's going to be players that get lost out in space. That's what we call life. That's what we call football. But it's up to the coaches to make the necessary adjustments. Look, for us to point the finger at the players is crazy to me. Because all we're saying is we need this guy, we need that guy. How about developing your guy? How about drafting a guy that's going to be able to make plays out there instead of sitting on a bench? We had a guy that's never a healthy scratch. Look, we had issues all week with Amari Cooper. We know for sure that I thought that his knee and all this stuff, MRIs and all this, that he won't be able to play. The first thing the Cowboys did is set out some of their wide receivers, you see. Now, granted, he did show up and show out, but still, this coaching staff, the collective coaching staff, whether it be on the defensive side of the ball, whether it be on the offensive side of the ball, whether it be special teams, it's always an issue as it relates to the total body of work. We're going to go back and look at these things 10 to 20 years from now and say, boy, y'all remember when we had that Coach Garrett out there? You see what I'm saying? When reality comes knocking at your door, Everybody have reasoning, but results are what matter. So far, Jason Garrett is a model citizen, a model coach if you want to be 8-8, if you want to be average. We on pace right now for a 9-7 season. We on pace for it, and one can argue that we on pace for an 8-8. I believe that this team is too talented to be 6-10, too talented to be 7-9. You see, too talented to be 5-11. So I believe that we're gonna muster out at least, at minimum, 3 games. I'm optimistic. I'm saying that we're gonna go 10-6. But at what harm will this do to this organization? And especially, Jerry Jones is the guy that's holding the gun and pulling the trigger. And then on top of that, the moment somebody comes in and pull out his chest or whip it out, let him know that it's bigger. Jason Garrett, hey, we already know that he would never do that. But we know for sure the moment somebody challenged Jerry Jones, oh my goodness, he want all of the glory. He want all of the praise. He want all of the satisfaction. And then he would say, there's no check that he will write bigger if he can get to the Super Bowl. He said it wouldn't be a check that he can write with many zeros on if he can get to the Super Bowl. Let me tell y'all guys something. There's no salary cap as it relates to coaching staff. Let that sink in. There's no salary cap. If you love Jason Garrett that much, make him your player personnel person. Make him your GM. Make him somebody else that can sit in the background, and still hire somebody else. And I do know that they can say that, hey, we're doing that now, but we're doing it with falling opportunities. Meaning that Rob Marinelli, what have he's proven since Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I'll wait. What have Papa Rob Marinelli proven? And I'm not trying to swing at Chris Richard, but this Chris Richard, what have he been proven? Didn't Seattle Seahawks left him out for the cold? You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that he's the issue. But what I'm saying is that even though you got a Rob Marinelli philosophy as it relates to the front four, but you have a cover 3 dominant type of coach who's pitting there as the passing game coordinator, who's supposedly be our quote-unquote defensive guy. I don't know. We don't know. As Cowboys fans, we always in the shadows with this. And as much as we praise as Chris Richard, we don't know whether or not they saying that, hey, this is your car keys, but hey, you can't take this car no faster than 65 miles per hour. We've been failing as an organization as it relates to those type of things. We just don't know. Even with Jason Garrett in the Kellen Moore situation, is this Jason Garrett's offense or is this Scott Linehan / Kellen Moore's offense? Who offense is this? What is the identity of the Dallas Cowboys? How do we win games? Do we win games only if we execute on a certain play? Where are we taking care? Or when are we attacking the opposition's weaknesses? That's what I really want to know. When we get into these meetings, do we say we do what we do best? When I go to my Instagram page and the video says that, hey, I felt that it was necessary for us to continue to run the ball. It's fourth quarter, Jason Garrett. That's what he said. That's his words. It's necessary for us to continue to run the ball. But yet and still, it's not Jason Garrett's problem. It's not his fault. It's always the kicker that missed the kick. It's always Ezekiel Elliott who's looking slow out there. It's always Dak Prescott who couldn't go through his progressions right, and he was wide open, somebody wide open on the right. And then all of a sudden, it's always the media who's pointing out the fact that, hey, when we look at the film, it's not all the way the coaching fault. Hey, that was a read option. Maybe, just maybe, Dak Prescott. Can you believe that Dak Prescott threw for 397 yards? Hey, this team, that the Minnesota Vikings, regardless of how you look at it, they only give up 17.5 points per game, basically. That's their average. But I'm just saying that Dak Prescott put up 397 yards, and somehow it's still his fault with 3 touchdowns. Let that sink into your mental. Yeah. I can't make this stuff up, but Coach Garrett, he gets the pass, you see. Everybody will say that, you know what, if Brett Maher makes that kick, it's kind of crazy to me that we had more focus and attention on what color of jerseys we were going to wear. We had more attention on a cat that walked out there on the field, that somehow we had more attention to those two things opposed to what the philosophy of the Dallas Cowboys is. Nobody can tell me the true philosophy of the Dallas Cowboys. Nobody can just go back and say, well, this Cowboys is this type of team. Nobody can tell me that. There's a sometimes when you are a great coach in general, or you're a great philosopher, you will see like, hey, this is Dick LeBeau's defense. You see what I'm saying? Or this philosophy is West Coast because it runs these set of plays, right? You will say that they take on this identity because this is such and such a philosophy. Or this is a Bill Parcells tree, coaching tree. Or this is a Bill Belichick type of deal situation. It's been 10 years. What philosophy is Jason Garrett is pulling from? Are we a run-dominant philosophy where we're going to line it up? Man, we're going to line this thing mano a mano, and we're going to rip you apart. We run so much out of shotgun, it's ridiculous. And then when we get into I formation, hey, I mean, you guys out there on the field, you guys is out there in the stadium, you guys is watching way from Backdoor, Idaho and UK, and also you guys are watching from Brazil can say, hey, they finna run it. Oh, how you know? Well, it's first down. No imagination, no imagination at all. But we'll give Jason Garrett a pass. He's not the person to blame. Nick Saban is just like him with the Dolphins and the Browns. This is from Edward. I really appreciate you, Edward. So this is a Nick Saban's type of philosophy. Because when I look at the Bama team, although they got drugged this weekend, they still have some ingrained philosophy. They players still run a certain way. They players still hit a certain way. They have a certain nature to them. They have trends and tendencies that's second to none as it relates to college football and operations. What a pass run, missed tackling did Garrett make? Yes, just training. Yes, what pass? What rush, what missed tackling Jason Garrett made. But I have yet to find anybody that can out-debate me on this topic. This is my house. And if you think that you can come all the way to my house, walk in through my door, sit on my couch, and keep your shoes on one point, walk in, and put your shoes on my couch and kick up. Or also go in my refrigerator and open up the refrigerator door and drink all of my juices. Go in the secret compartment to take out my hand and drink my hand up. And I'm just going to sit back and say, okay, that's cool. You got another one coming for you. For once, before you even walk into the presence of my home, there's already something established that a male is here, dominance is here. There's respect because you're going to look at how everything is organized. So by the chance you walk through my door, you're going to say, law, hey man, can I take my shoes off, bruh? That's respect. It wasn't given to me. It was already earned because of how my location and how everything is set up is already earned. Because now that you already see, when you walk through my doors, you see that, man, this shit is laid. I'm going to take my shoes off. Nobody respect Jason Garrett. They come right into AT&T Stadium. They walk right in with some mud boots and they come in and say, they look for the couch. And I'm going to sit down right here. And I'm going to put my feet all over the coffee table. And I'm going to make sure I kick it so I can knock all of this mud and dirt and residuals all on the coffee table. I'm going to get up and I'm going to change the channel to the station I want to watch. And matter of fact, I'm just going to move to the side and I'm going to let a few go. And I'm going to get up and I'm going to go right into the refrigerator and look around and see what I'm going to take. And there's no fight. This has been going on for 10 years. People coming into AT&T Stadium, Arlington Stadium, whatever stadium it may be, wherever we located at. And they've been disrespecting the Dallas Cowboys house. It's just the reality of it. And then on top of that, they go back and they say, you know what? I'm spending the night tonight. I'm not leaving. You see, this is the Dallas Cowboys. This is what we've been experiencing for the last 10 years. There's nobody that can. Look, it's so crazy that the media, the local media, and some of the national media that supposedly support the Cowboys, they look at it and say, you know what? That person is right, you know. Grab that man an extra beer. Let him kick his feet up. You see? They still give preference to Jason Garrett for some strange reason. I don't know. I ran it off a long time, and I ran it off enough. I had people to say it's Law Nation fault. I'm the clout chaser. I'm the person that's causing the Dallas Cowboys to lose, you see. It's my fault, you know. Don't blame Jason Garrett. Don't blame the players. Blame Law. It's me. I can't make this stuff up. But the reality of it is that we've been seeing the same song and dance. And so I'm at this point. I'm never going to give up silver and blue. You know, you guys already know when I die, there better be a star on my tombstone. If not, I'm coming out of the grave. I'm hunting. Whichever of my family members decided not to put that star above my tomb. But I will say this. Just hear me out. I'm ready for this coaching staff to prove me wrong. So you can call me a fickle fan. You can call me clout chasing. But until they prove me wrong, I would prefer for us to get rid of Jason Garrett, and I prefer to move on with another coach. I do know that it's going to be probably a conundrum. It'll probably be the same thing going over and over again because it's Jerry Jones' team. It's Jerry Jones' team, you see. So even if we get another guy, we might be seeing the exact same thing. But the reality of it is that I'm ready to move on. I don't know about you all. The Dallas Cowboys can go on a run, and we can go all the way to the playoffs. But the things that we are having issues at, they are fundamentally. These are things that is just not all of a sudden it's going to change. It's mentally with this team. It's a mentality. It's a thought process. It's a pattern that's been going on for years. So if you guys are going to sip the sauce and say, well, if only the kicker makes the kick, if only these third and second and 2, we do this as opposed to that, and then all of a sudden we get to the playoff, we would not see these ugly scares. When we win a game in the playoff, when we go to the championship, the NFC championship, we would not see those ugly scares. When we get to the playoffs, or when we get to the Super Bowl, we would not see these ugly scares. I would love to know what you do for a living. I would love to have what you're eating. I would love to drink what you're drinking. If you feel that all of a sudden, after this game, that they're going to wake up and they're going to start executing plays, they're not going to do some crazy stuff, and everything is going to be 100%. And all of a sudden, Ezekiel is going to hit every hole. He's going to get up the field. He's going to have 200 yards per game. Dak Prescott is never going to pass another interception. And his coaching staff is going to coach and outthink him, out-coach these other teams in the NFL. I like to know what you're drinking, and I like to eat what you're eating. I'm just going to say this, that I'm done with Coach Garrett. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy if we believe that all of a sudden the light switch is going to kick on. It's been 10 years. It's just what it is, you know, and it's crazy. People try to do quick fixes all the time, and I love give an analogy with the car. If you have a bad transmission and you need to have a new transmission, you can go all of these auto zones, Advanced Auto Parts, O'Reilly, and they got some transmission fluid, transmission slipping, and you know it's broken. And you just continue to buy that fluid and you put it in there and you're saying that, okay, it's not slipping as bad. We can still make it. We get to point A to point Z. It's not the same. You're going to have to pull it. You're going to replace it. Hate to say it. That's just the reality of it. You can coast from here to there, but when it's time to climb that hill, you start shaking again. When you have your motor, your engine warped, You can put all of these things in there. But guess what? Once it's warped, people who drive cars, once it's warped, it's done. Jason Garrett is warped, baby. And only a few will understand what I'm talking about. And there's going to be a lot of people that goes over their head because they never had experienced what I'm talking about. But you can spend all of that money. You can spend all of that money. You can go buy all of it. And guess what? It's crazy. They got a market for you all. They got all of these products. Mystery oil and secret cream that you can pour into the engine. And you sitting back saying like, yes, it'll work. See, it's working. It's working. The moment the weather change, the moment it leaks out, the moment you have to take that vehicle more than 50 miles out of your area that you're supposed to be traveling in, it gets to shaking. And that's what the Dallas Cowboys is. That's the best analogy. I'm just like the analogy guy over here. But you can love your car. You can love it. You can say, hey, I love this vehicle. But it's going to need an overhaul. It's going to have to remove the transmission, remove the engine. And Jason Garrett is the engine of the Dallas Cowboys, unfortunately. He is the engine. He is the engine. And he's a transmission as well, and it's slipping. And we've been pouring oil after oil. Look, we went and bought parts on standby. Tristan Hill. You see what I'm saying? A Taco Jordan. Oh, look, Jason Garrett's the engine. He has nothing to do with the transmission. They work in unison. And also, when your distributors are bad, what you got to do? You got to change them out. There's all type of mystery sprays. Let me just spray this on the distributor. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. This Law Nation car talking to you all. But it's facts. It's life. And reason why they say it's working well like a well-oiled machine or everything is fired on all cylinders. These cliches or these statements are realities of life. And when your cylinder is not hitting and it's not firing, then guess what? You're not going to perform at its max peak. It can still roll, but it's going to cost you more gas. It's going to cause you more headaches. It's going to cause you more trauma. And you're going to always say to yourself, man, I love that car. Man, it's a beautiful car. I remember this and that. But the reality of it is that it can't take you nowhere. But not put it on a drag strip and try to race it, because there's other parts that goes along with this. But Cowboy Nation, I don't want to keep you all long. I did 7.5 hours yesterday, close to 8 hours talking to you all, taking phone calls about this. And the reality of it is that it's never the engine fault. It's never the transmission fault. It's the person who bought the car. And we already know that Jerry Jones is the owner of this car. And he keeps putting oil, he keeps buying all of this mystery stuff, and he's not changing out the main parts. I mean, you can rotate the tires. You can also buy a new axle and all of these things. But the reality of it is that you are the owner of this vehicle. And it's been stalling on us for 25 years. We've been trying to buy these aftermarket parts. We've been trying to put a cold air intake on there, and we try to put a new manifold on there. And we've been trying to do all of these things, but the issue still remains the same. Can we pull up a hill? No. Can we win on a stretch? No. There have to be perfect conditions. It have to be sunny. The sky have to be right. The roads can't be curvy. The GPS got to be operating, because if the GPS is not operating, the coaching staff make no adjustments. They don't know when to turn, and when they see Highway 30, they don't know when to get off on that exit. Oh, it's because the GPS went out. It's not the coaching fault. You know, everything was working fine until the GPS went out. Oh, the reason why we had a wreck because the road was slippery, the rain, you know. Or the brakes needed to be adjusted. So we fire this person. You see where I'm going, Cowboy Nation? That's all the time that I have for this beautiful morning. Guys, relax. It's Veterans Day. So if you see a veteran, salute to that veteran. Take them out to eat. Call them. Tell them that you love them. I think that Danny's Danny's have free breakfast all day. Of course, they serve breakfast all day. So look at that veteran, support that veteran, let them know that they did a noble thing for this country, and let's continue to grind to shine, and let's take this thing one day at a time, one movement at a time. But it is what it is at this point. Let's continue to be supportive of this team, but still let's not be fake and phony. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's reach out to Dallas Cowboys media markets and push the envelope. Not saying that you want the guy to get fired, but let's start asking these hard questionings. And that's just my thought on everything. But remember, it's not Jason Garrett's fault, right? It's the players' fault, right? All right, Cowboy Nation, that's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the bass. Salute. It's crazy, Cowboy Nation. It's crazy. Yeah, let's start. Fire Jarrett. Fire Jarrett. Jason Garrett, boy. It is what it is. Push the media. Yeah, you're right. Let's go.